Hello, freak bitches.
Own his own shit, you know. But anyways, so we're having these arguments, and then it would turn to a pejorative, and I'm like, well, okay, why are you attacking me? I'm not attacking you. I'm not even being angry about your statement. I just you made statement A, so I don't believe in it. I don't think that that's correct. So we're having a discussion, but now it became a personal attack, and now, once it even gets to that, let alone someone even back in the day talking about, oh, it really upsets me that no matter how angry, no matter whatever, if I hit you or did this, it wouldn't matter because you're you. It's like, well, both of these statements come from the same. Both of those scenarios come from the same place. It's like, well, now you're attacking me, the individual, because if you're going to do that, you aren't thinking about me as the person that, no, I got your back through heaven and hell. I will kick the gates of hell down and kill everyone there if I got to for you. They want to devalue me, the person, because they feel attacked in some way. They feel like they're so attached to their statement, to whatever that may be, which has some attachment to maybe what they feel is their existence, that to change that is dangerous. To call it outright wrong would be an even bigger problem. I mean, it's just like this stuff would start showing up at the house, and so I'm like, all right, I'm going to start doing research on Marx and Engels and all this different stuff, and then as I would go further and further and further down the rabbit hole, I come back and I go, oh, okay, so this argument stems from this and this and this and this and this, and they're like, no, it doesn't. Like, well, okay, why do you think people operate? Like, what do you think their whole reasoning is? We get into these arguments about capitalism. Like, capitalism's a neutral system.
Let me ask you this: what is it about social justice warriors or left-wing people where Marxism is so attractive to them?
Well, for one, it's this idea of equity, like this sameness, like nobody is being left behind, and no one is becoming greater than anybody else.
Right.
It's also the idea, I like to think of it I think a lot of these young people look at it as mom's house, mom and dad's house. So when you're at mom and dad's house, someone does your laundry, someone cooks your food, you always just show up, you got a place to live, the TV turns on and there's your cable.
They think the government should become mom and dad once you leave the house.
So they want mom and dad's house to exist forever, so it's just like they can run off and do whatever it is they want to do.
There's plenty of money for food, there's plenty of money for shelter, we just need to spend it.
Right.
The redistribution of wealth.
Right, exactly, because if you exceed that system to more than they deem that you should have, then you should give it to somebody else. And it's like, well, how do you think I got this?
I wonder how many... I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead. Keep going.
It's just like, how do you think I got this? People could say, well, it was you got it through you and inherited it. Okay, that does happen. I could also have got it through hard work and dedication and some guile and some smarts, and made it happen for myself. Does that somehow mean that I had to do it at the expense of someone else?
Yeah, that's a shitty argument, right? That's the argument that they keep bringing up. That if you're successful, you did it on the back of someone else.
It's all grift.
Yeah. What do you think? This is what I wanted to ask.
Well, that's the other thing. The back of someone else is an interesting thing too. It's like if someone agrees to do a job, if their skill set is limited in such a way that they are capable of doing this job at this moment. Now, of course, if you're asking me, they have a potential to do more than that as long as they're willing to invest back in themselves and find another skill or expand that skill. There's always possibility for growth within a human being, within their lot in life, whatever that is. And that could be transferred into work, could be transferred into personal goals. I mean, it's all about how you value things also. So this person gets into this job making widgets for this guy who invented this widget. This guy invented the widget. The argument that, okay, the worker deserves just as much as the guy that invented it, it's like, well, hold on. Without the guy that invented the widget, you have no job. Like all of these people that are working underneath them would have nothing. They would have zero. There would be no widget to build. And the guy that made the widget also has the most responsibility because he had to come up with the money to produce the widget, to be able to hire the people to make the widget, to then market the widget, to do all these things to the widget, to get it out there, to make it successful enough to then support more people. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's on the back of that other person, because you could also say, well, is everything on the back of the guy that made the widget? I mean, his idea is not worth, can't belong to him, because he created it. We should take it for us, even though we did not come up with it. We never created it. We didn't even have the facilities to make it.
Didn't create it and didn't invent it are the ones who want to define how much this guy should get for inventing it versus how much they get.
Sure. And I would get into arguments with my ex about, she's like, oh, I think all businesses should be co-ops. And my thing is like,
what does that mean?
Well, like cooperative, where everybody is getting an equal share into the business itself.
Businesses.
Yeah.
That's
and I would
hilarious.
say it is hilarious. Also because I would say all businesses can be co-ops. There is no one stopping a business from being a co-op. You know what stops businesses from being a co-op is someone doesn't want it to be a co-op, or someone decides, well, I can't do it that way, so it won't make as much sense for me to create a co-op situation as it would to not. Or
a co-op sounds nice. An enforced co-op does not sound nice.
Well, of course
a co-op sounds nice if, like, say if you and I live on a block and we say, hey, we got this fucking patch of land, let's start a garden, start a little small farm.
Correct.
And we'll just have a little co-op here.
Right.
All right, cool, great.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But that's everybody
if
doing it by choice, voluntary.
And says, Josh Barnett, is this the Josh Barnett farm? Yeah, well, you're going to have to turn this into a co-op. And you're like, well, the fuck I am. Well, we're going to put you in jail.
Exactly. And then it comes back down to violence.
Here's the question. This is what I kept meaning to ask before I forget. Do you think that what do you think the numbers are of the people that are involved in these ideas that have never competed in anything?
Now, my ex-girlfriend is a professional fighter, and she fights in Bellator. However, the idea of the meritocracy of being a fighter, it's not, I don't think it's lost on her. I just think that she doesn't like the way it's worked out for her. And that makes her upset. Whereas for me, I found success as being a fighter. And sometimes it would appear that she would be upset at me for what I was able to do, and somehow think that maybe I was less deserving, or somehow it's an exception, that who knows what. But the reality is like, I can sit back and go, oh, Mark Hunt just made $800,000. Her thought might be more, let's say, if I'm making this up, I'm not saying that she said this. You know, she's like, oh, why does he deserve $800,000? Why I make $4,000 or $5,000 or whatever.
I've seen people say that.
Right. It's just like, okay, well, I could think of plenty of reasons. Like, he draws more tickets, he's got a better record,
he's a superstar,
or he's a K1 champ, or whatever. You know, at the end of the day,
he's fighting in New Zealand, too,
right?
By
and
the
if
way,
he's selling more, right? And if he's selling more tickets than you are, then he deserves a greater percentage of that money. Now you come to me, and I can be like, well, I beat Mark Hunt,
right? But what's her argument for that when you say that?
Her argument for that would be that, you know, this other person isn't any more deserving than
so everybody
me.
Should get paid the same. So if John Jones fights Daniel Cormier, huge fight, everybody on the undercard gets a fair share.
Or either that, or just like, well, I deserve more than this. And my argument would always be, when she was upset about what she may be getting paid here or there, and some of this I'd go, well, look, you know, for what we're trying to accomplish, and for what is available in these markets, that's not a bad payday. Well, that sucks. No, I agree with you. You should make more money, but we can't. It's not available, so we have to deal with what we have. For me, and then I would look at something like Mark Hunt and be like, well, I beat Mark Hunt, but so what? I'm more glad that Mark Hunt was able to create an opportunity to make $800,000. So therefore, if he can make $800,000, now the potential for me to do that exists as well. And it's just similar to like the old Gina Carano thing, where everyone got on a train about wanting to beat Gina Carano. Fuck Gina Carano, she's not even that good, blah, 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 blah. All this hate at Gina Carano. When the reality is like, okay, well, even if you beat Gina Carano, you're not going to get what Gina Carano gets. You're not going to get, people aren't going to like you just as much or more. It's really not about any of that. The only thing you can control is yourself. At the end of the day, you can only control yourself. You can work to try and increase and determine your value in terms of what you're trying to sell. But